Sup, Nerdmigos? I'm the Jive Talking Nerd, John Norgrove. We've got Wife here, and we're back at it again for Trek Jive. This is Picard Season 3, Episode 4, No-Win Scenario. And this scenario was as no-win as is humanly possible, and gloop person possible as well. We're not judgy about the particular form of relative solid you choose to be in. But fuck that gloop guy. Girl. I guess gloops are non-gendered. Them? The gloop them?
That gloop creature. That gloop no.
They're not human. It's not a gloop human, certainly. It's a gloopman. That fucking gloopman, but also, fuck that gloopman.
Gloop entity.
Before we get into more sass about the gloop, don't forget to like this video, comment below, share, subscribe, ring the bell, do all that business shit that we're supposed to tell you to do. I don't know if I've said our names already. Have I?
Yes, you did.
Okay, well, we are who we are, or we're not, and we're actually gloop. Don't trust anybody. But, I mean, that's fucking the TLDR of this entire 4 episodes so far, is don't trust nobody. So,
well, they did say that at the beginning of the season.
And,
yes.
and they've held up that all trust may be shenanigans.
Yeah.
So, there you go. Yeah, let's just get right into it. Best episode of the season so far.
This was a really good episode.
This is such a good episode. Oh, man. Such a good episode. So, shockingly, we had no B-plot. I just want to get this out of the way early in our, like, little discussion about this. No, spoilers. But we had no B-plot in this one.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. What's happening to Raffi and Worf? I'm vested, and then you just rip the rug out from underneath me, for shame.
I think next episode, all Raffi and Worf.
I feel like next episode we're just everybody's getting together. You son of a bitch, I'm in style. Maybe. So this episode, no B plot, no Raffi and Worf, sad bananas, but we had a bunch of A plot, and boy, this plot was rather A, maybe even A plus. I would say.
Yeah.
Fantastic episode. So, like last we left off, the Titan was falling into whatever the gravity well of the center of this nebula was, and they were like gonna die, and we got to learn like a whole bunch of shenanigans. So this episode's, like, I would argue that this episode's A plot was the like Titan trying to escape the nebula, and the B plot was just everybody's emotions.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? And I don't mean that in like a derogatory way. What I mean by that is like all of the, like, background, like, character development stuff that we got in the form of flashbacks, and, you know, maybe Shaw doing a little too much drinking and painkillers, in the holodeck. Because we got to learn...
Well, and also in his room.
And in his room. Yeah, I mean, well, whatever, dude. He was called, whatever, asshole from Cleveland or whatever.
Also, we definitely
like 4
saw
times.
the bone in the break come, like, out of the skin.
Yeah. Ooh, girl, that is real broke, that guy.
Yeah.
The leg. But we got to learn that, like, first of all, redemption arc for Captain Shaw this episode. Boom. Here for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, like, definitely the bone sticking out. And, we got to learn that, through Shaw being like, Crusher's a little liberal with these painkillers, but, that his beef with all Borg, and especially Picard, was pretty much precisely what I expected. He was directly affected by Locutus of Borg. He was at Wolf 359 when Locutus was murdering folk, and he was one of 16 people.
No, 11.
No. There were 15 officers in his like duty roster who had survived that last attack on his ship, and they were all trying to escape to the escape pod, and they got there, and there were only 10 seats, and they were waiting for orders, and a lieutenant, which would be the 16th person, came down and assigned 10 people their seats, leaving the lieutenant and 5 officers behind to die with the ship. And he was, Captain Shaw was the 10th officer. This was back when he was like an ensign, just like a grease monkey, from Cleveland, right?
Yes.
Yeah, from Cleveland.
Or no, Chicago.
Oh, Chicago. Yeah, Chicago. Grease Monkey from Chicago.
Sorry if anybody's offended by that.
Yeah. I don't know that it was meant to be anything more than just, like, backstory for him. You know, how, like, we have, like, officers from all over the country.
Yeah. I think that was really cool. It was so great, dude.
Oh my god,
riveted. I have been like slowly becoming more Team Captain Shaw as
Shaw's not a bad captain, dog.
The only downside,
you know what? Let Seven be the captain of the ship. Make Shaw the chief of engineering. Do that. Whatever.
Yeah.
Terminate the chief. Well, the ensign was the one.
The only downside about that, like about him recounting that, is they had, like, you know, the sounds in the background of, like, people shouting. You know, it's meant to be, like, sound from the past kind of thing. And I think it would have been significantly better if they had just done a low kind of, like, blah sort of sound as he tells it to, like, heighten the tension. Because the sound of, like, the yelling in the background was, like, super distracting when he's talking about this, like, highly emotional thing.
I loved that we kind of got this emotional tenor through sound design to the way that he was telling the story. It's just like after he told the story and Picard, you could hear like a bunch of like kind of Borgy, like murdery sounds from Picard as Locutus and such. Which they've done before in other stuff with Picard, where he can like sort of like, whether it's hearing the Borg still, which technically he kind of can, sorta-ish, or if it's more like just a memory. I kind of love the way that they do that, especially with people who've been Borg in the past. But that explains why, like, he's an asshat to Seven and why he's got beef with Picard and stuff like that. I'm very vested. This was very good.
Yeah.
Captain Shaw coming in for the win, you know, with that stuff. Plus, we got to see him, like, do some shit because he's like, they're like, we got to open up the nacelles to expose the warp coils to the bioelectric wave from the nebula or whatever. And they're just like, but nobody knows how to do that. And like, you're old, so you got this, right? And he's like, I am old, and I do in fact have got this. Which was dope. We also got the Gloopman got glooped up, which is fucking gangster, and it got glooped up in the form of what's his name's daughter, Geordi's daughter, LaForge's daughter, which was super cool. When she was just like, Seven was just like, Commander who? And she's like, Commander Annika, and Seven was like, chow, right?
Yeah.
That was dope. And Shaw, like, holding his little, like, laser pin.
Yeah.
Like, that shit ain't gonna do nothing, but, like,
yeah.
I don't
but,
trust.
like, he's gonna do what he can.
He's like, I don't trust. Hand me that torch, but I don't trust.
Yeah.
Like, that was fucking fire. The whole, like, okay, so, like, the very beginning of the episode sort of resolves the two dads arguing. Between Riker and Picard in, like, a very nice way. I like Riker's just like, Picard, shut the fuck up. You were right. I'm just trying to apologize. Jeez. Ugh. Right? Which was awesome. And then he was just like, also, we found out that Riker's kid died?
Yeah.
Riker's son died, which is mad sad, dog. And then, like, Riker's like, you go have, like, a beer with your friend or whatever. And Picard is so fucking awkward with his son. Ooh, girl. Yeah. Let me tell you. Like, when he's just like, I got a little bit of my fucking wine down here. And his kid's like, give me trash whiskey instead. I mean, he poured him JMO, which is, like, not as trash whiskey as I expected to see when he was just like, I prefer whiskey. The cheaper, the better. And I'm like, we're gonna get some 12th planet from the star nonsense whiskey or some bullshit.
Yeah.
And he pulls out just a fucking bottle of JMO, and I'm like, weird advertisement, but I guess good for you, man. Like, weird flex, but I'll allow it.
Yeah.
I guess it means that Jameson survives all the way to the Federation, so good for Jameson.
Yeah.
It's not bad. I do fancy a good JMO. little splash of JMO in the coffee or something like that. It's not bad. It's not bad. But so, we also find out that, like, when Picard, we get this, like, kind of reoccurring flashback through this episode where, like, Picard's talking to, like, a bunch of just, like, cadets or whatever the fuck, ensigns or whatever while he's trying to eat some fish and chips. And, like, Jack was, like, there.
But we don't find out until
the very end. Ooh, girl, that was rough.
If
Do you
Picard
have a family
outside?
And Picard's like, no, the Federation is my family. And then Jack just, like, ghosts. That shit's heartbreaking, dog.
It really
Wow.
is, because
So
it
heartbreaking.
seems like if Picard had been remorseful about, like, not having a family, like, I wish I had always had a family, maybe he would have gotten to know his son sooner.
Yeah.
But
totally.
in like the first episode or the second episode when we meet Jack in this season, he's like, I never had a father. And when we saw him in that bar, I was like, oh.
Yeah, dude, so heartbreaking. And I mean, like I kind of get why. Like, I mean, like, obviously Picard didn't know he had a kid, so, like, he didn't know, right? And, like, from his perspective, it had been years since he'd seen Beverly.
Yeah.
Obviously. I mean, it wasn't like Jack wasn't, like, 5.
He very clearly never thought anything about this. And he's talking to a bunch of young kids, and they want to hear all these stories.
He's trying to, like, get them to be like, Federation.
Yeah, of course he's gonna, like, you know, toe the company line.
Yeah, totally, yeah.
So it makes sense why he said what he said, but it
in
also
the context
makes
in which
sense
he said it.
why Jack reacted in the way that he did.
Well, and Jack doesn't know.
Yeah, he doesn't know.
You know, he doesn't know.
Yeah.
So, like, the one time he has, like, the opportunity to kind of know.
And Jack might not even know that Picard doesn't know. It is unclear at this point in time.
I mean, it seemed like Jack knew that Picard didn't know.
But also,
like, maybe not.
We
Who
don't
knows?
know.
Yeah, who knows? Beverly, not spreading truth as often as we would like her to.
Communication.
Communication, girl. Damn. That's all right though. So we got that, and we got, like, Riker trying to record, like, a very fucking sad message to Troy, which I was just like, oh, my heart's
yeah,
like, unacceptable. So that was fucking. This was like the B plot of this episode was just sadness. I mean, most of the A plot was like the Titan needs to survive.
I disagree.
And the B plot was just like, hey, here's, like. Well, I mean, it's like the real look at, like, the background about all these people and the way that they made their decisions that led them to this place. But at the same time, all of those backbones were very sad, right? Shaw had to be, like, 10th in line and watch 5 of his friends and his one lieutenant, like, perish at the hands of Picard. Picard, literally at the very end of this episode, finally realized, oh shit, I told this kid, well, adult, like, that I don't care, even though that's not what I meant, which is fucking heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Right? You know, and of course in the same day, right, within a few hours, he was also told by the captain that, like, Shaw directly blames him for all of the sadness that ever saddened. So that shit's a nightmare.
Which makes a ton of sense why Shaw treated them in the way that he did in the first episode.
Totally.
You know, when that was happening, I was like, "There's something that we're missing here. There's something that we don't know."
Yeah, I knew it was Dead Friends by Blood.
Well, and you called it.
I totally called that shit.
You called it at the very.
It was either 359 or fucking First Contact. Like, it had to be one of those two situations.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think that this episode was written and acted and directed masterfully.
Oh, fucking
as well as we got every single emotion that you could possibly get in this episode.
Totally.
We had jokes, we had feels, we had hope, we had sorrow,
despair,
you know, we had action
shit.
We had tension. We had everything in this episode.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this was a really good episode, and it really fleshed out the big cast, you know, which is like Riker, Seven, Beverly, Jack, Picard, Shaw. I would like to see, the only thing that we didn't really get a chance to see, I mean, we got to see, like, a little bit of, like, background cast of the crew reacting to stuff, but I would really like to see more of the, like, I really want to know more about the bridge crew.
Yeah.
You know, the, like, the dude who works next to
Geordi's
LaForge's
daughter.
LaForge's daughter, the lady who works in comms, and the lady who works in it's like system management. She does the same thing that like Harry Kim does, or at least that's what it looks like. You know, like. But, like, that's what it looks like. Yeah. The chick who's in science. So, like, I would like to know more about that. We still have not met a chief engineer of this fucking ship. Like, so some of that shit, dog. So I'm, like, interested to know more about this crew and the ship. And I think we're going to kind of get that now that, like, the big MacGuff is over. Or at least is, like, on pause for now.
Yeah.
Because we got to, like, round up the rest of the homies. So we'll, like, kind of see where that goes. But, like, overall, this was, like, a really fantastic episode. Riker throwing a fucking asteroid at the Shrike was
Beverly
delicious.
Being able to time the contractions.
Yeah, figuring out the contractions
really cool.
just as, like, just be like, Dr. Knowledge was, like, super fucking cool. Because at first she was, like, counting it down, and I'm like, why is this bitch counting it down?
I was thinking the same thing, too.
So the first time she counts it down, I was just like, why is she counting it down? What the fuck's going on with this? Like, what is this? Is it just because she's, like, bored or something?
She just, like, wants
to know?
And
then the second time, it shows her counting down, and she goes, like, 3, 2, and you see her, like, lean into whoever the, like, officer in that med bay is, and, like, hold for a second, and I was like, oh, she's counting down to try and, like, mechanically stabilize patients. That's totally a doctor thing. Like, that makes sense. And then she's like, oh, I noticed that it's like a contractions kind of thing, and it's like counting down to a thing. And I was just like, oh, very smart.
Yeah.
It makes sense. So that was dope. We got a ton about Jack, which is very interesting. I'm very interested to learn more about him. I'm like, I kind of like his character.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a bit of an asshat, but like I'm into it, you know. And we got to learn a bit about Shaw, and I look forward to seeing like the evolution of Shaw.
Yeah.
You know, he's doing fantastically in my opinion.
Yeah.
Especially playing against like absolute fucking bangers.
Captain Shaw is bringing big Dr. Cox energy from Scrubs.
Yeah. Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is. He really is. He's bringing big, the science officer from Stargate Atlantis.
Yes.
You know? Just like an ass, but like technically not wrong, which is kind of the worst.
Upsetting.
It's a little upsetting, yeah. Yes. But we got like good 7 stuff. Like, this was overall a fantastic episode. I think we saw in the credits that this was also directed by Jonathan Frakes. And he is just fucking absolute gem. God, Jesus. God's damn. Man, what an absolute monster. He's so good at this. Yeah. These have been such fantastic episodes. These last 2 especially, and this one even more especially. The scene where they catch the wave and they got the fucking little port things open on the nacelles, so that way the metamaterial in the warp coils, which is a metamaterial, can convert the energy in the wave backwards into plasma to kickstart the warp reactor is not only absurd technobabble from Star Trek, but a fucking beautiful shot. Oh, man. This show is so pretty.
Yeah.
Man, fuck you. It's so good. It's so good. The Gloopman was like a clear and present threat the entire time, like right up until the very end. And even at the end, I was just like, oh, do we lose Shaw right now? Oh. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was fantastic. Like, this was overall just like a genuinely good episode, and I cannot wait to see what happens next.
Yeah, this was a fantastic episode.
Absolutely fantastic episode.
What do you think the stuff, these like weird visions that Jack is getting are about?
So originally I thought, like, I think it was like maybe 2 episodes ago or last episode, I said that I thought that maybe Jack was having nanoprobe visions, because like if Picard's got nanites in him still, which all ex-Borg still had nanites in him, I thought like maybe Jack got like some sort of nanite shit and he's getting all Borged up in there in the brain box. But this most recent flashback that he had, like attack that he had at the end of this episode, made me redirect that thought, and I think he might got a little bit of gloop in him.
Yeah.
I think he might got a little bit of gloop in him, like whether he was like infiltrated by the gloop or whether he was like injured and a gloopman helped him but like left a little gloop behind, or like some shenan.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, maybe he's gloop and he don't know it. Maybe he's like half gloop, half human, and he don't know. Maybe it's like gloop-spiracy. or some shit. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I feel like he's like maybe a little gloop.
Yeah.
Or some shit. I don't know, dog. Like this what the fuck going on with the red door and the like gloop on the wall and the like.
Well, and like a
thing
woman whispering,
crazy.
"Find me." It isn't Raffi looking for the red woman.
Well, kinda, but not really. Because the red woman ended up being the statue that was red that was in front of... Because the target was the red woman. She thought the red woman was the buyer, but come to find out the red woman was the target.
What if that was just a red herring? And
I mean, I guess it wouldn't be a red herring so much as just like a double entendre, right? Because it was a red woman that got portal murdered.
Yeah.
Well, it's statue.
Well,
so
there's
like,
clearly a larger threat happening based on the conversation that we saw on the Shrike ship.
Yeah.
So there is another
and the conversation on the
Shrike
Shrike ship. I feel like whatever's going on has to do with the founders. That's the glue people from DS9. Has to do with like that rogue contingent of gloops that we found out in the last episode that are trying to do a shenan or whatever. To like we've infiltrated the highest ranks of the Federation, blah, whatever the fuck that's on about. Like I think that might be part of it or something. Man, what if? I just thought about this. What if he was half gloop? What if Jack was half gloop and the like relationship between Picard and Beverly maybe ended like one night before, but then a gloop Picard showed up and got Beverly pregnant with a half gloop, half Beverly kid.
That could be possible.
Maybe that's it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know, dog, but like... Oh, also, we heard the backstory between, like OG Jack Crusher and Picard and, like, all that stuff. It was just... we got a lot of, like, little details and shit. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's gloop. I think his, like, weird hallucinations are gloop-based. And I think that... it's got something to do with some functional amount of gloop all up in him.
Yeah.
Some proportion of him gloop.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And maybe it's like madness because, you know, gloop people got to return to gloop state or they like break down. But also gloop people got to return to the gloop, the group gloop.
Yeah.
Lest wise they go like crazy without the gloopness. So like maybe he's going a little mad because he hasn't like touched some gloop in a while. You know, and like maybe he just like didn't know that he was being like gloop touched for a min, you know, or some shit. So like I don't know, dude. That's real interesting. What's going on with that stuff? But you know, I guess biggest takeaway is make a Captain 7 of 9 show from this episode. Abrupt left turn, because I want it, and that's all that's important. Is what I want. So do that. You're welcome. I've spoken. So yeah, no, I thought that was great. I think maybe best part of the episode is probably throwing an asteroid at the Shrike. Real asshole move. Yeah. Solid gold oldie. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That was maybe my favorite part of this episode. You know, all things considered, because this was a hell of a good episode. What about you? Favorite part?
Definitely Shaw telling his backstory. Yeah.
Oh, in the holodeck 10 forward?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a fantastic job.
It was really well done. The actor who plays Shaw is just bringing the absolute thunder. And it really wraps up a lot of the drama that we've been getting from Shaw that felt just sort of like racist, but that doesn't make any sense, you know?
Yeah.
Because it was like, kind of like racist energy, not in like a hate brown people way, but just in like the way that he was talking to like Seven and Picard. And then come to find out is because like 5 homies and a lieutenant got all Borg murdered up, right? Whatever he said, like 11,000 officers were murdered during Wolf 359 or whatever the fuck. Which, I mean, like, we've seen, like, if you've watched, like, TNG and DS9 and stuff like that, they have, like, flashbacks to 359. Like, you know that Wolf 359 was a fucking absolute nightmare. Yeah. Just like a nightmare of a battle. And the Federation got, like, barely made it out of that shit alive. So, like, that was, like, obviously people who survived the Battle of Wolf 359 are, like, kind of like PTSD'd by it,
Yeah.
you know? And I think that, like, as soon as Shaw tells that story and you realize what that is, it all starts to make sense.
Absolutely, yeah.
In, like, a fantastic way. Which, like, good writing, good directing, but, like, really the award goes to Captain Shaw for being able to deliver that with such, like, profoundness.
Yeah.
You know?
Totally.
So, damn it. I'm into Captain Shaw now, I guess. Shit. Yeah. But I'm excited to see what happens next.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, me too.
So yeah, and we're maybe halfway through the series.
About.
Probably 8 or 9 episodes is where we're gonna get for this season. I don't know off the top. I don't know if they've said it out loud. I'm just being an asshole or something. But like, I haven't heard nothing about it. So it's dope though.
Yeah.
You know, so, yeah. What was your favorite part? Tell us below. What did you think of all the stuff that happened? And,
what do you think is up with,
what do you think is up with the Jack's
visions?
visions? Yeah. Yeah, his hallucins. Do you think he's gloop? Do you think it's nanites? Do you think it's some other new shit that I didn't think about? Maybe he's just got, like, CTE or something. Right? Maybe he had a semi-professional wrestling career for a small period of time that we're going to learn about in the next episode. Could you fucking imagine? Right? Yeah, maybe he fought The Rock in the Delta Quadrant, if you get that reference. But yeah, either way, I've been John Norgrove. This has been Wife. This has been Trek Jive. And we will catch you guys next time. Stay frosty, folks.